I am an unusual missionary. My message is always the same. It is clear and brief. I can speak any language. I am never rushed, nor is any distance too great for me to travel to reach one soul. Unlike many missionaries, I need no regular support, nor must I pay room and board when staying in a foreign country. Even my trip across the ocean costs but a few cents. No special permission is required from the government when I enter or leave a country. In fact, fellow missionaries like myself are living today in lands where all other missionaries have been forced to leave. I witness to many people who have never heard of Christ, and sometimes to people who are very unfriendly to my message. I remember one day in France, I began to witness to a man who didn't want to hear about Christ. He was so angry that he finally pushed me into the street and walked on me. There, I lay unable to get up. Some missionaries would have been sick there on the cold, wet street, but I am never sick. Finally, a kind-hearted woman came along and helped me up. I traveled with her to her home that night, for she told me her son would be very much interested in my message. I told him about Christ and his power to save and invited him to a gospel meeting held by some missionaries. He attended the meetings, and before long he was saved. In spite of the fact that I never sleep, even though I work day and night, I am never tired. One day in China, when I almost lost my life, I was still able to carry on my work. It all happened when I was riding in a car with some Christian friends. We were passing through a small village when suddenly I noticed that the car window had been rolled down and one of my friends was pushing me toward it. There must be someone out there to whom I should witness, I thought as I felt myself falling through the air and landing with a thump on the dirt road. Quickly, a man came over and lifted me up. Now, some missionaries would have to introduce themselves to a stranger before they witnessed of Christ. But I started right away to tell this kind man of Jesus' love and death on the cross for him. He was busy, could not stand and talk, so I traveled along the street with him. The man wanted to hear more. I can't carry Bibles with me on my travels, but this time I gave the man an address to which he could write and get a New Testament. He has a New Testament now and is reading it regularly. Often my travels take me to beds of the sick and dying, but I fear no disease. I can work myself into convents, monasteries, prisons, and some of my brothers have even gone behind the Iron Curtain of Russia. We can preach the gospel everywhere, and the police cannot kill us. For you see, our life is not physical life. We are only made of paper, and yet we bring strength to weak bodies, hope to the despairing, and faith to the fearful. Our life is the power of God behind the words printed on our pages. I am a gospel tract. Perhaps you have friends or loved ones who are unsaved. They may live too far away for you to visit them and tell them of Christ, or they might not listen to your words or witness. I will be glad to come to your house, and you may introduce me to your friends. Some of them may find Christ as Savior through reading my pages. Pray that God will bless my missionary work and will lead to seeking souls.